Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. On today's video, I am using one of the new IOD holiday releases. I'm using a Cotswold Christmas, and I am making as many projects as I can find time to fit into this video, trying to use what I've got. If you want to see what I come up with, stick around. A Cotswold Christmas transfer book is 8 pages and they are 8-inch by 12-inch sheets. They were painted by Marion Parsons for IOD, and you will not want to miss this. It's $24.50, and let's see all the projects we can get with it. Project number one were these 2 thrifted frames that were put together quite well back in the day, weren't quite my style, but you can see that the maple frames on the front had some nicks on them that kind of ruined the beauty of them. Now this was a non-glare glass, so again, framed very well. I decided to go ahead and treat it the right way and just take all of these pins out so that the glass can come out without breaking. In addition, it had 2 different options for hanging the wire, and decided to take out the alternate option. And now I'm left with this beautiful maple wood, and I thought, well, if I sand this down with some 60 grit, I can get that top layer smooth. So that is what I decided to do. I just stayed in my space. It was too hot outside to take this outside, and I am using a 60 grit sanding block. I got the sheen off with that and the nicks off with that, and then I used a 320 grit to soften and smooth out the wood. I went with the grain of the wood. Next, I added some water to a paper towel to wipe off the sanding dust and see what the richness of the wood would look like if I just sealed it in as is, and I am loving it, and I think it goes really well with the color tone of the houses I picked. Next, I'm using the original artwork. Again, that was lovely for a time, but it is not for me. And I am using what was in there before to decide how I want to lay out this paper. This is some recycled decoupage paper that I have in my stash, and I was just trying to use it for a background. So I had something to put the houses on. And listen, the option could have been I could have decoupaged this or used Liquid Patina to get this on the paper cardboard, but I didn't want to risk getting the original artwork paper wet and having it wrinkle. So I just decided to put the transfer directly on the decoupage paper. As you can see here, I'm laying it out, cutting it to size before I go ahead and apply the transfers to the paper directly. Next, after the wood has had a full day to dry out, I am using DIY's clear wax and going over the wood, letting it just soak into the wood, and look at how it brings back that richness. After it sat for a little bit, I did kind of buff it in so there's a little bit of a sheen, but I like that it is not a high gloss sheen. Turns out I'm really not into the super shiny wood. Anyone else? Now I'm doing a dry fit of my artwork, and I did leave the paper a little bit big. It's always best to leave more space and cut later. So I am trying to figure out what edges I want to cut off so that the paper is in the center. Next, I'm putting the backing stuff that was already in there. And then my friend Lea Anne over at Small Gestures Vintage and Craft swears by having a point driver. And this is my first time using it. I got it off Amazon, and I will have a link in the description. I feel like a professional using this. It is so easy. Where have you been all my life? It is a $30 investment, but I feel like I am so much happier with the output here. So you will see more of this in the future. So I am just putting the backing back on and screwing in the eye hooks that were already with it, adding back my wire, and look how beautiful. Project 2 is reusing a thrifted frame that I had painted gypsy green and used antique gold rub and buff. I loved the color with this particular wreath transfer. I was missing the insert and like the black background, so what I did is use my handy dandy FIFO bottles that has little black dress inside, and recently I got a multi-pack of these thin canvases to make my upcycles so much faster. And so I am just covering this thin canvas with one coat of little black dress, and then I added the transfer to the top of it. Full disclosure, I did not seal the paint first, and I had a little trouble with it going on, but everything ended up going on well. I just had to be more patient. You will see later that I make sure I seal everything before doing the transfer. Now, because DIY paint does need to be sealed, I went ahead and used liquid patina over the top of the transfer first. That way, if any of the black pigment got into my brush, I would not muddy the transfer. And I did multiple directions to make it look like it was a hand-painted picture. This quick little pseudo hand-painted canvas in a frame I already had, and it's ready to go to my booth. What do you guys think of this one? If you guys are new here, welcome to Create Your Own Cozy. I would love it if you hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let me know you are here. I have tried putting these silver plated trays in my booth and selling as is, and they are not moving. So let's upcycle it. I just cleaned it up real quick, and then I used Salvation solution in the color white to seal the metal because I didn't want this to be easily scratched. One coat of Salvation solution absolutely did the trick, and honestly, I just restocked the clear Salvation solution and would have used that instead, but it was all the way at my booth and I was trying to get things accomplished. So now I'm picking out the transfer I want to use. I'm doing a little crinkle where I want to cut it. I'm only cutting one side at a time to make sure I have it fit well. And it's very important to do these dry fits so that you are happy with where it's going and the sizing of it. Next, I have some Fusion sample jars that have been sitting around, and guys, normally this stuff works like butter, but this sample size is at the end of its life. So I really pushed through to use this and covered this plate with this beautiful color from Fusion, but the sample jars, they need to be used right away is what I've learned. So it's not a super smooth finish. I'm fine with that. It is an all-in-one paint, so there is a top coat built in. So after that's dry, I get the transfer on there, and then the transfer does need to be sealed. So I'm going to go over the whole thing with DIY's clear wax to seal the transfer and protect it, and to make sure the sheen of the entire plate is the same. Next, I'm going to add some shine in the color European Gold. It is a new to me color from Rub and Buff, and I don't know about you guys. Did you guys realize like these aren't being sold in like Hobby Lobby or Walmart anymore? You have to buy everything online. So I got mine on Amazon, and I'm really liking. I love antique gold, but this is European gold and it's a new option. I also love using these plate hangers and making sure you hang them the right way and just putting them on the back of the plate. Look how fun this upcycled silver plated tray looks. This next project, this particular sign has been on a gallery wall I'm working on redoing in my home. And you can see it's got so much dust on it. You can see I was not opposed to color, but I am trying to change out any of these mass-produced items in my home and make them more special. So I thought, why not just upcycle this? And I covered all of this wording with Salvation Solution in white to make sure that none of that bled through. Next, I covered this whole thing with 2 coats of DIY's Ameraucana all-in-one paint. I forgot to get that on video, but it allows me to have a nice base for this beautiful holiday transfer. Let's get out some milk paint. I got out the color Cobblestone. I'm going to do equal parts water to milk paint, stir it up. I let it sit for about 5 minutes. Best practice is to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes after you've stirred it so that it is a milkshake, a melted milkshake type consistency. And then I'm carefully leaving that center, the Ameraucana color, and covering the outside boards. This is such a prefab piece, and I'm trying to make it look old and weathered. Once you have mixed up your milk paint, you really do need to use it right away. I usually try to have a project that could use a base coat of paint somewhere around in case I mixed up a little bit too much, but I happen to mix up the exact amount for 2 coats. So for the first coat, I used some heat. I know that this was a pretty solid surface underneath, and I wasn't going to get a bunch of chipping, but I wanted some heat to see if I could get some cracking. So I do that, and this is when you can start to panic a little bit because you're like, well, this isn't the way I wanted it to look. That's okay. Be patient. Wait for that second coat of milk paint and then use heat to dry it again. That's when you will see what you want. Next, I'm going to put the transfer on top of the all-in-one paint that has already been sealed. I take my time making sure it's in the right spot because once it's down, it's down. I realized after the fact I should have cut that little tree off the top, and it actually worked really well just to be able to pull it back and cut it. I use a letter opener to make sure that these wood pieces look like they're separate pieces again. And now it's time to seal the whole thing. I'm using DIY's Liquid Patina to seal the transfer and the milk paint. And then after that, I'm going to go over the whole thing with dark oil wax to make sure that those crackles really come out. Now I put a clear top coat on here so that the dark oil wax would not make it look muddy. And so I'm going to go over the top part too. It's just going to give it a little bit of a tint, and you will see after it sits for just a little bit, the more you want it to stay, the longer you have it sit. But after it sits for just a little bit, you just wipe it down and you can see that it gives this beautiful glow to it. There's something about this dark oil wax that makes so many paint colors shine. Also, you will notice my other hand has a paper towel in it. Never touch this with your fingers because those fingerprints love to stick around. So just have a paper towel in both hands so you don't have to worry about that, and look at this beauty. Project number 5 actually has 9 finished projects, and basically what I'm doing is I am using these old canvases. Piper and I took an art class at a pinners conference one time, and the process was fun, but we never did anything with these canvases, and I had about 9 of them. So I thought, now it's time to upcycle them. First, let's put a base coat of Little Black Dress on here to cover up all the colors. You can see the great coverage that has just with one coat. I did notice after I finished that there was some raised area from the paint. I took a straight edge and just kind of scraped that off. Went over it with another coat of paint, and then I am back to business. You will see here I'm trying out 2 reds. On the left is DIY paint in the color Marquee. On the right is the all-in-one Cottage color Barn Quilt. I decided to paint them both Marquee, make sure all of the DIY paint has been sealed completely, and once my canvas's bases are ready, I'm ready to add the transfers. When you are adding transfers to a canvas that has a frame, you want to make sure you put something hard down underneath the center to have a resist for when you are trying to install your transfer. So I am just putting my transfer on. After that happens, I burnish each one of them in, and I seal them all with DIY's Liquid Patina until they're ready for the next step. These little canvases were looking like they were missing something, so the flurry stamp would have worked as well, but I decided to get out Golden Ticket from DIY Paint, put it on one brush, tap it with the other to give some golden depth to add some interest. I got these little canvas magnets from Michaels back when they sent me a $5 off coupon. These are great little things to go grab when you have those coupons. I am finishing these off with a base coat and then sealing them. They are the perfect size for some of these smaller transfers. And then I am using Farm Fresh paint on this one and this other canvas that I already had painted one time, and decided to do a second coat to get it ready for the transfers. I found really good uses for these little transfers. They would also be good for ornaments, but for some reason this little piece, there was a piece that went missing. So I went in my scraps and found little bits and baubles that could kind of be a centerpiece for the little wreath. I do have some of last year's IOD holiday release over on my website. Once they're gone, so don't forget to go check that out. I thought that these needed to be framed out a little bit, so I used the Golden Ticket to kind of frame them out so you could see their shape, and then I added some splatter to these as well. Before I show you a reminder of the 13 projects that I got done today, I am showing you now what is still left in the transfer book, and there are still some pretty amazing decor items that can be made with these. what did you guys think of all the projects I got done with the new IOD Cotswold Christmas transfer book? Let me know in the comments what your favorite was, and if you got inspired to maybe get out one of the transfer books you have and do a challenge, make as many projects as you can with that one book. It's so nice when you get a bunch of things with this very similar look, and if you're a reseller, it's nice to get a bunch of projects done and not let these half-used books sit in your stash. For those of you guys who are still around, thank you for being patient with me as I try to figure out what my new creation schedule is. As I mentioned in last week's video, I have partnered with Kristen with Simply Joy by Kristen and Lea Anne with Small Gestures, Vintage and Crafts. We just launched the Create Retreat, which is going to be an in-person event next March 11th through the 13th in Dahlonega, Georgia. We will have more information below, or you can click this QR code. Tickets are open. It is limited capacity. We are so excited that you guys have been responding, and I don't know, every time we sell one of those tickets, the three of us are like, it's coming to life. This dream of ours is coming to life. So make sure you check that out. As always, thank you so much for being here. Let me know you're here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check me out over at createyourowncozy.com.